Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This week we'll be trying voiceover for the first time as I take you through round 5 of the Audi TT Cup Championship here at Magione with the Nameless AC League on Xbox. Going into this race we have 42 points, standing third in the championship, 30 behind Zolly, which has had a flying start, whereas we've had a quite shocking start to be honest, due to a few things going wrong, mainly on my side, but also a few things I can't control. So then, for this round, we've got one shot quali for the second time in the championship. If you've watched my previous videos, you'd have seen my Brands Hatch video, in which we also had one shot quali, and that didn't go too well because we didn't put enough fuel in the car. So wasn't ideal. Had to start last. Hopefully this week we'll try to do better. As I take you through the lap, going through the first sector now. Just try not to take too many chances. In this sector, trying to keep it all neat and tidy as we go into the second sector now with the back straight. Not too bad so far. I believe low 15 was the best time we could hook up in practice. So given it's one shot, I'm hoping allowance of 3 to 4 tenths, maybe half a second slower, just in case of safety. Should do us quite well, but as you'll see later on in this video, it doesn't quite go to plan. At this point, actually, the lobby had to be restarted because, they had a crash, really. The tracker was 100 for them. Sadly for us, can't say the same. It's on 98%, so obviously hell of a difference in grip. It's going to cost us quite a bit. As we finished the lap, feels okay. However, it's a 16.2, which isn't ideal, over a second off where we should be. Regardless, sets us in P7 after we rearrange the grid
Good luck,
to
boys.
get ready for the race. At this point, I'm not very happy, and just looking forward to the race to see if we can make a few positions on lap 1. Lights out and away we go. Now then, initially the start is quite good. Making our way down to turn 1 now, trying to sense an opportunity on the championship leader Zolly. Whereas I think now, from this point onwards, just get boxed in really, and don't want to get spun out. It's a really tight track to overtake. Is Magione. It's quite difficult. So, as you see, a bit of contact there with third place, moving everyone around, which is exactly not what I want to happen to me. So we're keeping away from danger really. Dropping down the grid. Oh no, we're staying the same. Now they're making our way to the back straight. Already used our deploy in sector 2 as we just get a touch there from the man in 7th, which is now 6th in front of us, which isn't ideal. Not the start we wanted. Regardless, it's a long race, and hopefully our strategy, which we'll go through a bit later on, will gain us a few positions as we enter the last sector now. Obviously everyone in this top 6 so close together, such a competitive field at the moment, as I think 3rd and 4th start battling, and this is really just a waiting game now because it's almost impossible to overtake around here unless you've got such a pace advantage. So as I mentioned earlier, strategy is really going to be key. Anyway, if we can stay in the meantime, stay amongst them, try and stick with them if we can. Ooh, getting really close there to Imagine Sfax, causing us to lose yet another position. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, not really the start we wanted. We'll try and battle this as much as we can, but it's risk to reward really. Hypervenom actually passing us around the outside there on the straight. Just trying to keep a cool head at the moment, even though things aren't really going well. Might not be able to see it in the face, but stressing quite mad at the moment, especially while others in front of us are fighting and then we're just still losing time. Using the deploy here on the straight, trying to see if we can maybe get that position back if we can, but that's 2 cars ahead. They're still fighting, we're still going to lose more time, which not ideal at all. Our strategy, by the way, for this race was to start with a full tank, as you can see, and then see if we could go a quarter of the way through the race, really. Then hit the deficit we need to get the race distance in, and then just full tank it until dry until the end. hoping at the end of the race we'll have a bit of an advantage with a lesser fuel, obviously less weight, hoping to get us a little bit more pace. And at the moment, that's really the only option we've got. Pace-wise, it's not going to work. And of course, depends what other people do, really, as well as other on-track action. But it's really like Monaco without the walls here. You can't really pass here, especially with different deploys, people using it at different points. Anyway, we'll skip forward a lap, and we're still in 8th, behind Hypervenom and Sfax. Now coming up to 5th. Due to quality and the different grip levels, it's pretty mixed up grid, really. Not really the front runners you'd expect at the front. Bit of a mixed bag due to the grip levels, but anyway, we're going to see if we can size a move now on Hypervenom, get us back into 7th bare minimum. What we really need at the moment now is just clear air and just see if we can just bed into ourselves and set our own pace, really, till we pit, because we've got no other chance otherwise. So we skip to lap 7 now with no change in position yet again, but still sticking to the plan. That was a 15.9 we just set out, which wasn't that bad with full tank and using quite a lot of deploy already, as it seems. Apparently that's the fastest lap of the race, but everyone's trying different things at this race. Everyone's got different strategies with starting on different fuel levels, as well as compounded tyre. I believe in this race we elect not to change the tyres and just simply full gas it with fuel and see where we end up after that. Now then, skipping again now to lap 16, I believe. Yep, here we go. This is lap where we pit. Now then, bear in mind this is far earlier than everyone else in this race, and it's a different strategy to everyone else. This was pre-planned by me. This was the original strategy, but obviously, rather than trying to gain 1 or 2 positions, maybe if I was starting from 3rd, we're hoping to gain a little bit more here. As you can see, just changing the fuel now. We emerged from the awful pit lane, by the way, really awful pit lane. Down in 9th now. Now then, these few laps are going to be quite critical. Tyres are going to be quite cold, and we're back at full tank. These aren't fresh tyres still, so grip level is going to be less than what it was at the start of the race, irrespective of track grip. But we're going to see what we can do, and then just see if we can gain at the end, because it's only then we're going to find out, with everyone pitting really late. Getting forward now to later on in the lap, where hopefully tyres have warmed up, and Logic Echo has set a 15.5. So that's just telling us now what everyone else is doing in the top class of racing, while we're stuck behind the guy in 8th. So it's going to be a little bit disheartening for now, while we're going to be quite a bit slower than everyone else, with obviously a heavy fuel load. And here we go now. So we skip quite late on into the race because nothing really happened, and we're emerging in P5. We've got P4 now with P3 in front of us, so we've gained quite a large amount of time in the pit lane simply through not changing tyres and going through all our quite aggressive fuel strategy. So we're on the arse of Zolli at the moment, which now will probably have more pace than us. But in these early laps, we're going to see if we can try and capitalise on him having cold tyres. As I said earlier, this was really the only chance we had to try and gain on him during the race. But we're sticking with him for now, going through that first sector. Still not using any deploy. In this race, I think I lost my head quite a bit in the early stages of it, using too much deploy too soon, in hope just to try and stick with the front runners. Whereas I should have stuck with my guns and had more faith in the strategy. But obviously, it's quite deceiving seeing the guys in front of you just dropping you, irrespective of what fuel load they have, which is a shame, really. But there we are. Now then, you join me again now, a few laps later now, 3 laps later, and we've caught a few more people, some lapped cars I believe in front of us, still behind Zolli, but this is going to give us now potentially the opportunity, having stuck with him with a lower fuel load, to hopefully try and pass him.
Holy shit,
at this point, my tyres were quite knackered, and as you can see, Jesus, by the lap charts there with a 16.2, our pace isn't fantastic. It's dropped off quite a bit, but I think that's the price we've had to pay, really. Oh, as Zolly makes a mistake going into turn 2 there. Now they're not smelling blood. Now we're going to see if we can try and pass him on the main straight. Me bluffing going into 3 doesn't quite work. Zolly mounts the curb. We're trying to take a wide line, trying to throw him off as much as we can. But to be fair to him, he's sticking with it. So there's not much we can do, and he's actually extended that gap using deploy and also having a superior exit to us due to tyres. He's just extending that gap. I've elected not to use the boost on this occasion, hoping for a better occasion later on in the race, but at the moment it's not really looking that promising. However, we have still gained from, at worst, a P8 position to P3, so it's not too bad, all things considered, but obviously we want to try and get second, don't we? So it's not ideal. However, sadly, I believe at the end of this race we don't quite catch him in time, even sticking with him. But I believe we're going to skip forward to the end of the race. Skip forward to the last lap now. Previous lap was a 16.0, so just not quite the pace. Even though we're having the lap cars try and help us, but in the end it just wasn't quite enough. Regardless, still quite good showing, all things considered. Could be worse, but it's not been an ideal start to the championship we'd have hoped for, really. We got taken out in round 1, and round 2 obviously didn't put enough fuel in. Round you wouldn't have seen before this was our Vallelunga, which we stuck it on pole actually by 2/10. We were leading the race for quite a while, and a mixture between a bad strategy on our side and the lobby crashing later on led us to finish second overall, which isn't perfect, but we've come so close so many times to winning in round 1 and round 4. It's not ideal. We'd have hoped for more, really, but there we are. As obviously you can tell by my by my look on stream, just quite pissed off at the end of the race. We were only 8 seconds off the lead, which all things considered isn't that bad, and just goes to show again, really, how much we gained as we look to the final positions now, with Desire taking his first win of the series, and as well overall his first ever win with the Naming AC League. So obviously well done to him. Regardless, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.